You know, locating big whitetail bucks is a lot like finding hidden treasure. Hi, I'm Tom Miranda, and welcome to Hidden Treasure Bucks. Most whitetail hunters have a tough time grasping how to locate whitetail bucks, specifically big bucks. Well, in this video, Hidden Treasure Bucks, we're going to discuss the where, when, why, and how of locating big, mature whitetail bucks. We're going to talk about general location, how we can take maps, how we can take DNR referrals, how we can take landowner referrals, and turn those into specific locations where we can find big whitetail deer. We're also going to use a helicopter, if you can imagine that, to fly areas, specifically fly long-running barriers, habitat change features. We're going to look for interspersion. We're going to show you how to find whitetail bucks. We're going to use photo trail timers and show you photographs of bucks before you even go in and set up your tree stand. I'll tell you, we've got a lot of tricks, a lot of tips, but one other twist is we're going to try to hunt some of these deer from the ground. We've been working for a couple of years on trying to take whitetail bucks from the ground. I'll tell you, it's a tough chore to film. You're going to enjoy Hidden Treasure Bucks.
Hidden Treasure Bucks is brought to you by Realtree, America's most versatile camo pattern. By Bracklin Archery, Bracklins, innovators in archery accuracy. By Puckett's Blood Trailer Broadheads. When you use Puckett's, the buck stops here. By Featherflex, innovator of the bedded doe decoy. By Martin Archery, compound bows and equipment you can depend on. By Modern Muzzleloading, night rifles that are accurate, safe, and dependable. By Liquid Game Bag, your spray-on fly protection for wild game meats. By Scent Lock, the hunting suit that hides human odor. And by Mark June's Lures, the originator of Make-A-Scrape and distributor of Tom Miranda's new scent concentrates, Magnum Supreme. Tom Miranda of Chamberlain, South Dakota, is no stranger to avid whitetail hunters. As host of ESPN's Outdoor Adventure magazine, Tom travels around the world fishing, hunting, and doing some crazy adventures. As a professional trapper and hunter, Tom is also known for his extensive video library of hunting and trapping subjects. A veteran pilot, Tom has experience in float planes, gliders, hang gliders, and helicopters. His love for flying and the outdoors is only matched by his desire to produce exciting and educational television shows, demonstrating that hunting and trapping are important wildlife management tools, and that hunters aren't takers but give back to the wildlife with habitat and money to help promote all species. Tom's lure and scent business is also one of the largest in the country, producing scent for many distributors under different labels and his own signature series, Deer Attractants.
I can't believe it.
Schwartz Creek, Michigan's Mark June is an expert at formulating animal lures and scents. A professional trapper and bow hunter, Mark is the innovator of such products as Make-A-Scrape, Tarsal Tea, and Interdigital. Mark is also the exclusive distributor of Tom Miranda's signature series scents. Mark's degree in biology has helped him to learn some interesting facts about whitetail behavior and how to lure them more effectively. Sandy Brady of Reedsville, North Carolina, is an expert at calling all types of wildlife. A veteran outdoorsman, Sandy has been seen on ESPN in many whitetail hunts, as well as bear, duck, and wild turkey. As co-host of America's favorite sportsman TV series, Sandy travels around the country promoting proper hunting techniques and ethics. Sandy is an expert outdoorsman and has an uncanny knack at locating and patterning big bucks. Mike Pelagatti of Phoenix, Arizona, is a wildlife photography expert. As head cameraman for Outdoor Adventure magazine, Mike travels around the world filming all types of hunting, fishing, and adventures for ESPN. A certified scuba diver, Mike has extensive underwater experience, and his patience in a tree stand for whitetails is unmatched. Mike is also an excellent hunter, having harvested his share of whitetail bucks as well as elk and a record-book desert bighorn sheep with a muzzleloader. Columbus, Ohio native Paul Vaughns is an expert at locating and harvesting whitetail bucks in crops. A construction contractor by trade, Paul spends all of his spare time scouting and hunting not only his home state of Ohio, but other states and Canada as well. Preferring archery hunting from the ground or a tree stand, Paul is really adept at selecting stand locations that produce, and patterning deer in and around soybeans, corn, and crops is his specialty.
12-point Central Ohio buck. Yeah, Bruce, about this North Park area up here, we've got this North Park Lake. That looks really good to me up in that area. Have you heard anything in there around that McCandless Township? Well, okay, okay. I guess anything in Allegheny County is a good bet, huh? Well, hey, I really appreciate you sending me this map. It looks great. When I get to Pittsburgh, I'll give you a call. Maybe I'll get a chance to show you a buck, huh? Okay, great. Again, Bruce, thanks a million. You bet. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, man. I'll tell you what, I am getting a chance to get on the bucks here big time. Hi, I'm Tom Miranda, and welcome to Hidden Treasure Bucks. We're going to talk about how to locate whitetail deer, big whitetail bucks, anywhere. I was just on the phone with Bruce Whitman. He's the Chief Officer of Information for the Pennsylvania Game Commission. In fact, I talked to him earlier, and he sent me all these maps of Pennsylvania, telling me what counties not only have the biggest whitetail bucks, but the highest concentration of deer in general. Right in the middle of this map is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Go Steelers? Well, I'll tell you what. There is a lot of deer habitat in this Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. And by using the telephone, I was able to call and find out where I can maybe go. Heck, I live in South Dakota. It's 2,000 miles to Pittsburgh. I'm actually locating deer sitting in my office here in South Dakota. You know, most people think that in order to find deer, to find bucks, to find big bucks, they've got to get out and scout. They've got to drive roads. They've got to talk to farmers. And of course, we're all going to use those techniques when we get out. But I'll tell you, before you get out, you need to use maps, you need to use the telephone, you need to talk to the DNR people because they're there to help you manage that whitetail herd, and that's exactly what we're getting ready to do. I'll tell you, if you're going to go looking for deer, you might as well go to the best place first, and Pennsylvania's a big state. I could look in any part of that state. I might as well start at the best place, and the DNR has told me that Allegheny County has the biggest bucks and a high concentration of deer. Airport right there, I'm going to start in Allegheny County. I'll tell you another good tip is to talk to the Department of Transportation. You know, those deer crossing signs on those highways, I'll tell you what, those are put there for a reason, for deer vehicle encounters. And if we can get in an area where there's a lot of deer that are crossing the roads, there's going to be a high concentration of deer in the area. By having those signs nearby, that's going to give us an area to point to on this map, and I think that's real important. Let's take a look at this map before we get out and try to find some bucks. You know, one of the things I look for when I look at a map is the long-running barrier features. Like right here, we have the Ohio River and the Allegheny River. These are long-running features that deer are going to want to move along. There's going to be habitat on both sides of this river. Obviously, when we get down here in the Pittsburgh area, obviously we're in a non-hunting area as well as not having as good a habitat as maybe down here along some of the rural stretches of these rivers. But in any event, by knowing that this county is the best county or one of the best counties in Pennsylvania for large bucks and numbers of deer, we can take this map and we can kind of try to figure where we might want to go start scouting and looking for the deer. Bucks, specifically big bucks, are going to try to have areas or access to cover that they can get away from everything and everybody. And it's kind of interesting to note that we've got islands in and along the Ohio River here. To me, that's escape cover. And these bucks are going to take no problem in swimming across a small stream or a creek or even a river to get to escape cover. And we need to kind of keep those things in mind too as we look throughout the map. Another thing that's really important is some of these park areas, because these are going to be areas where there's concentrations of deer that can't be hunted. And by taking this into consideration, we're going to be able to try to get permission in areas around some of these parks. And then we're going to have bucks moving out of the protected areas right into where we're going to be hunting, and that's a really great situation to be in. I'll tell you, let's travel down to Alabama, meet up with Paul Vaz. He's got some interesting ideas on locating bucks, especially early season.
Hey, welcome to Alabama. I'm pre-season scouting here in north central Alabama, and I'm on state forest land driving a gravel road looking for sign from the whitetail. It's really tough in the pre-season here because the foliage is so thick, the leaves are still green, and you can hardly see where the deer are patterning themselves. I'm looking for creek banks and bottoms, of course, and next to fields where they possibly are going to be coming out to feed right at last light of the evening or be out there first light of the morning, and hillsides where it could be open, where they can lay during the day with a breeze blowing up the hillside. It's so hot out, they move very little from daytime to nighttime. Feeding and bedding and water are very important, and they're all close together. And that's the water factor. They have to have water, especially this time of the year, to stay cool. Here's a nice little waterway. Now this stream serves as a water source for the deer year-round. They're going to be in and around this stream, bedding down in the low areas next to the water. And I'm going to try and find tracks and trails, droppings, leading to and from this water area. You know, there just isn't a lot of sign this time of the year. I'm really having a tough time finding where they're coming down to this stream or anywhere in this area. It's pretty thick also. I think what I'm going to have to do is get closer to their food source. Hopefully it's in proximity to this stream. I'm going to give this sandbar a look up here, see if there's some sign in here. Yeah, there's a few tracks coming across in here, which is a good sign. There's just been so much rain this year, they can drink from anywhere. But they are crossing in here a little bit. I'll check for a food source farther up. All right, now this is a better looking area here. I'm into a food plot area that the state's planted. It's the corn planted specifically for the deer. It's all grown up and it's unattended to, right next to the stream. Now we're getting into an area. We've got all the elements we need here. We've got the food, we've got the bedding, we've got the water that we need. The woods is nearby. Everything's coming together. This looks like a hot area.
You know, locating big bucks is really like trying to find hidden treasure. I'll tell you, even if you use DNR records and maps like this, when you're hunting out of state, you need a little bit extra advantage to find the bucks. And we're going to use it. We're going to use a helicopter. You know, combining map information with an aerial perspective is easily the best way to locate habitat types and refuges of big bucks. No, I'm not using the helicopter to spot wildlife, only to locate habitat interspersion and barriers. Interspersion is a big word, but it means the mingling of different habitat types. Like down there we've got big open fields and then we've got woods. There's an edge there and bucks are going to travel those edges. You know, like crop fields and woods or rivers and woods, those edges are going to be traveled by bucks. The more habitat types that can come together in a particular area, the better the habitat compatibility for deer. You know, I used the map to help narrow down possible big buck sanctuaries and escape cover areas. And now I'm just using the helicopter to give me a bird's eye view of these areas. What I'm looking for up here is long-running barrier intersections, where long ridges meet rivers, where interstate highways meet rivers, and where railroads meet rivers. You know, I think river bottom habitat provides some of the best big buck sanctuaries, and the barriers help contain those big bucks. You know, this river system here looks really good, and those small pastures down there are great year-round feeding areas for bucks. Just like Paul looked for food, water, and shelter in Alabama from the ground, here in Pennsylvania, I'm looking for a combination of the same, but adjacent to inaccessible areas. Areas where I think the big bucks will hide.
You know, hunting just isn't that good. Midday, early season, when it's really hot out, the bugs are really bad, the sun's high in the sky, and it's a perfect time for me to go grab a sandwich at the truck, figure out exactly how the morning hunt went, what I want to do to change it. And what I figured out on this hunt now is I'm going to move my ground blind down the hill just a little bit where I had seen an earlier buck this morning. Man, that was exciting, but he just wouldn't come up the hill. So I want to get in real close. And that's one of the reasons I like hunting from a ground blind. It's really mobile. I get all camouflaged up. The art of concealment is the ultimate. When I can get in super close to a whitetail, so close that you can see every muscle in his face move when he eats, like 10, 15 feet away, like when he's looking at you, you don't know if he's looking at you or past you or through you. I'll tell you what, you talk about intensity, your heart's about pounding outside your shirt. You're breathing so hard and you're wondering, is he gonna see me? And if he does, he's gone. He wins that round. So you wanna try to get totally concealed, and that's the ultimate challenge when you're whitetail hunting, is getting in close. When you're in a tree stand, you're sort of stuck in that area. But when you're on a ground blind, you can get up, be mobile, move wherever you wanna go. Get in nice and quiet. It only takes you a couple minutes to set them up. I'm gonna finish my sandwich here, get back out in about an hour or so, and maybe we'll see that same buck again. Maybe we'll see a bigger buck. I'm telling you, it's the ultimate challenge. I can't wait. Here comes a deer. It's a buck. Oh, the wind's in my face. This is coming up perfect. All right, there he is. Let me give him a poke here. Yeah, he's down, he's down. My first Alabama buck. Let's see, well, he's an 8-point. I thought he was a 6-point. He came in so fast, I thought he was a 6. You know, I think I saw this guy scouting 2 days ago. This is my first Alabama buck. He's still got his red coat. He's just out of velvet. I'm down here for 3 more days worth of hunting. Who knows what I'll see tomorrow? I can't wait.
You know, locating whitetails can be tricky, if not downright difficult. Tom likes to use maps, and that helps get him into a general area that we want to take a closer look at. Being head cameraman, I like to know a little bit more about the area we're going to look at. I like to know if the deer are coming in the morning, in the afternoon, at dark. Do we have enough light for our videoing? I also like to know whether or not we're dealing with does, fawns, or are they bucks, and if they are bucks, how big the bucks are. There's a few tricks in this bag, though, that's going to give us more information. Let's go. You know, finding whitetails is like building a pyramid. You take a lot of general information, and it's your base and your building blocks. As you get more information, you get more specific until finally you reach that last block on the top of that pyramid, and that's where you want to put your tree stand. Well, we've got a good location right here. It's one we've done our pre-season scouting on. We want to know what's moving through the area. What we've got here is a multiple event trail timer, and the beauty of this system is it incorporates a 35mm point and shoot camera. Now for the first time you can actually see exactly what you've got working out there. For the first time also you can clone yourself and set up a half a dozen of these and you don't have to be there to know what's going on. Let me show you how easy it is to set one of these up. The unit consists of two pieces, the camera mounting bracket and the multiple event trail timer, which is going to activate this bracket. All you add is your favorite point and shoot, and you're ready to go. The multiple event trail timer just straps on a tree. Takes just a few seconds to do. That's ready. The camera bracket can go either above or below depending on where you want to position it. I like to carry a little strap belt with me so I can go around any size tree I encounter here. And my bracket will be hung like that. Another neat little trick that I've learned along the way is if I want to level my camera a hair, I can stick a little stick behind the bracket and that'll help level the camera. It also puts some tension on the belt here, making it a little bit more solid. The next step is take the point and shoot camera. The camera just fits right in the bracket and you slide it up until that little pin is sitting right on top of the shutter release button. I'm getting closer to having this thing set up. The next step is to get into the multiple event timer here, and inside there's 5 clocks. Each time you're ready to leave this unit, reset your 5 clocks. And when an animal passes in front of the trail timer, it'll stop the clock. That'll let you know what times are coming and going. I don't usually use that too much because in the camera, there's a date and time imprinter, and I'll actually imprint that right on the photograph. So that gives me all my information in one spot. It's real simple to turn this unit on, hit the button on it, and you're ready to go. Neat feature about the trail timer is it has a range of about 60 feet. Now with this, I usually set it up in fairly open country or open woods so I can utilize that full maximum 60 feet. And that'll tell me any animal coming through in that 60-foot range. If you set it up at 15 foot and there's big heavy brush piles, you're shortchanging yourself. There could be animals moving around behind that. Another thing is the trail timer works off an infrared device. So only an animal's body heat will set the trail timer off. If grass is blowing in front of it, or leaves or branches, that won't set the trail timer off, only an animal's body heat. Really simple to use, foolproof, and now you can clone yourself. The last thing I like to do is check the unit and make sure it's working. It works. I tell you what, I've got some pictures from last year's hunt. Let's go take a look at them. Let me show you some of those pictures I was talking about. This will really demonstrate what the trail timer will do. We set up on a creek with the trail timer, and right at, here it is on the picture, right at 6:36 in the evening, this buck walked across this creek crossing. Really neat. And he's a good buck too. Really nice buck. Here's an even better one. He came by at 4:30 in the afternoon. Super buck. Tells you all the information you need right there. The day, the date, and look how big he is. Another picture here. Came by afternoon. Little far away, but that's what I was talking about. Keep that trail timer in some open country because those bucks 60 feet away, you're going to see them. The rack's small, but I can tell that's a buck worth going after. These pictures are great, I'll tell you. Got a drawer full of them. Deer, bear, turkey. I tell you, it's the neatest way to go scouting. Just one more clue to helping you find that hidden treasure. You know, last year I got a chance to hunt one of those trail timer bucks with a muzzle loader. Let's watch. He's only 30 yards from me. He just came slipping in behind me on my left shoulder. Oh, boy. I couldn't believe it. But the wind in my favor. Everything is perfect. Yeah! Oh, man. Beautiful buck. I know he's down. Yeah! Whoa! Look at him. Well, I don't need the cap on this anymore. Oh, what a beautiful little buck. Yes. Oh, wasn't that neat? He came in off my left shoulder. He couldn't have been more than 30, 40 yards max. Just coming along, walking along, nice and easy. You know, there was an open spot about 35 yards long, and he was so close to me. All I had, one tree left, just that one, and he passed his head behind it, gave me that chance to pull that muzzle loader up real fast, and pow! He's mine. Yes. Oh, tell you, trail timer is a real asset to finding that hidden treasure. You take them out, you can leave them for a few days, check out what's in the area, and you can set several of them up. That's the great part of it. You don't have to be there. It's another set of eyes for yourself, and they'll tell you what you got working the area. You know, I got a picture of a buck. It's not this buck, it's a littler buck, but I got a picture of one in this area, and it led me to this buck, the hidden treasure. Oh, another nice thing, you hunt with a muzzle loader. No other way to do it. You get into some of this open country like this, some of these cleared out wood lots, some of these open fields, you got that extra range. You owe it to yourself to shoot one of these modern muzzle loaders, because that inline ignition, when you pull that trigger, pow, it goes off right now, and there's no waiting. You owe it to yourself to have that reliability when a buck like this comes up to you. Oh, and what a buck. He'd make anybody's day, and he made mine. Yeah, he's a dandy.
Now here's my interstate highway, my long-running feature, and I've got a deer sign here that says there are deer in this 15-mile area, okay? Here's my river, my bridge crossing. Here's my railroad grade that comes through here, and a woodlot that goes just kind of like that. Now there's a couple of farm fields here too. One's over here. I think the most important one is right here, because that's a cornfield. And if you'll see here, I picked up droppings off the trail, and a lot of hunters will just walk right by the droppings and never give them a second thought. But I like to analyze the droppings, because it kind of tells me where the deer are hanging out. And this dropping has bits of corn in it, so those deer are right in that cornfield.
Oh man, this is a good looking area. And this is a railroad track I mentioned. Behind me I got the long running barriers. I've got the interstate highway with the deer sign on it. I got the river. I got cornfield on this side. I got cornfield on that side. A woodlot that intersects them. It's all coming together here. And what I'm doing is I'm actually looking for tracks, deer tracks on or near the train tracks already. And here's exactly what I've been looking for right here. This is a super trail right here. The deer are crossing from one side to the other. A little tip here, when you find a good trail like this, don't walk on it. You know, get over here on the side, walk parallel it to see where this thing goes. Don't leave scent on that trail. Let's get down in here and see what, all right, thick stuff. In fact, I got a little ravine here and a brush pile. This is the kind of place a buck would love to hang out. I'm gonna go take a look at this. Whoa, it's thick. Oh. All right, textbook. This is textbook right here. I got the main trail right here. That's what I've been looking for. That's that main trail that comes across the railroad grade, leads right here. And I bet you money that about 20 yards right up in that log jam, that tangle, is that secondary buck trail where we found those tracks. This is the best spot I've found so far. Everything's leading right to here. I'm just gonna go ahead and, it's kind of a little luring tip. It's right on the trail. Put a little curiosity agent, maybe slow a deer down, see if they work it. They should, there's lots of sign here. This is a hot spot. But also, I'm gonna put my tree stand in that, yeah, that tree right there is a good spot. I'm gonna put a tree stand, and that might just stop a deer as he's working down through this area too. Oh my God, it's a
Buck. Kind of up there a little ways. God, he's too far right now, but right up in the thick stuff. What the heck? He's up there thrashing trees or something. There's a tree moving. He's beating up a tree. It must be the curiosity stuff I put up there. It has really set him off. It's gonna spook the buck. It's a bad time for a train to show up. Real bad time. He's coming this way. I might have spooked him towards me.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. Talk about the highs and lows of hunting. Oh, I'm super pumped up. Here comes the buck. Coming in, and then what happens? A train shows up. And now I don't know if the buck's going to come to me, if he's going to be spooked or what. But then he comes to me. Here he comes. It's all working. It's going. It's happening. And then what happens? Geez, the train blows its horn. Oh, man. And the deer stops right beneath me. I can't even see the deer for a split second. I got to be perfectly still. I can't move an eyeball. But it worked out good. Maybe it even took the deer's attention off me, I guess, is how it might have ended up. Oh, geez. Oh, what a setup.
Okay, now there's my stand. I'm walking on the main trail, the main deer trail. I got a couple of scented spots there, but up here is really where I want to take a look at, up in this thick stuff. Got a couple other scent stations up here, but this is where that deer ripped. He just ripped that tree. Oh man, I know I was up in this thick stuff. That's where I'd be if I was a buck. And look at that tree. He liked it. So actually the tree we doctored up, which is right next door to it here, and here's the scrape area, but he ripped this, and whew. You know, I can't stress enough the fact you gotta have a plan when you're, especially like myself, I'm from out of state. How in the world am I gonna locate nice bucks? And you gotta first start with some general deer signs, in this case what we use, some general information. And then you gotta start to filter it down to specifics. And I use the land barriers. Right up here is my railroad grade, that forces the deer. This tangle, it forces the deer. Cornfield here is where they're transitioning to. I put together, it's like a treasure map. Putting together all the pieces of the map leads me to this specific spot, and this is where the deer are working. I mean, right over here, I got a trail that's just beat down with deer prints. And that buck was traveling along here, paralleling the main trail, again, up in this thick stuff where he's protected. He can see you, and you can't hardly see him. And that just makes sense. So these are the kind of things you gotta look for to be successful each and every year, okay? And if you find these spots, it can be a lot of fun. And now look at that rascal. That is fun hunting. All right. Whew. Oh man, what a spot.
When you're ground hunting, there's a few different things you need to look at. And the most important one is camouflage. You gotta blend into your surrounding. Right here, I'm in the real tree, all-purpose gray leaf pattern. Now, of course, it's late season. The trees are gray colored, no leaves hanging down, very little greenery. I blend right into my surroundings. Now this pattern probably wouldn't be as effective as the green leaf pattern during the green season when the leaves are on the trees. You want to blend in to the type of area that you're hunting. Now another thing, there's a lot of hunters out there that get the opportunity to hunt in the snow. Realtree's also got a great snow leaf pattern. Wherever you're hunting, you want to blend in as good as what you can. That way, when you minimize the movement when you're out there hunting, that animal's not going to spot you, he's not going to detect you unless you play the wind wrong and he smells you. Some other key points to ground hunting. You're eye to eye with that deer, and like I said, movement to an absolute minimum. But let's use that to your advantage. Let's say, for instance, you spot a deer out there at 70 yards. He's not coming towards you. He's going down the hollow. You think he's going to come up on the other hill. You're on the ground. You're mobile. Hey, hunting's fun. Let's see if we can't intersect him. Get up, go around, try to get right in there. You never know. He might just pass right by you. If you're set up in a good position, right camouflage, stay still, you may be getting the opportunity at that shot that you're looking for.
Got movement down in the creek. I don't know what it was, but there was something down in the creek right there. Oh my God. There's a big buck down in the creek. Big buck down in the creek. He's working up the creek. There's no way that I can shoot down to that creek. It's too far. And I'll make a ton of noise if I have to go down this hill. Oh man, he is a whopper. There's not one thing I can do right here, and that's to take a chance, and that's to get up and to work back around, going away from the deer. Try to intercept him. I'm going to give it a try. One of the things you got to worry about when you're moving on a deer, going to another location, this is prime time. I've spotted this buck, and it's just going to take pure luck to get in Shoot. Oh man, I'm getting down here. Whew. This is gonna be pure luck. I'm about 300 yards ahead where that deer was. See, talking to yourself. Just hoping. You can see on top of that. Oh man, there he is, right on the other side of the pond. It's probably 27 yards across that pond right there. Something's up here. Stomping his feet. Stomping his feet. Oh man, he's coming right to me. He's coming right to me. Yes! Pass through. Oh man! He's over. He's going. Yes! Oh man! Oh. I knew this was a hot spot, but I had no idea there was a buck like this in here. Stomping around right there. He knew something was up. Perfect pass through. Oh. A little bit of water here, but I don't mind that. Water has proven to be successful today. Look at this, guys. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A dandy 9-pointer right here. Came into that stock pond, gonna get some water. Thought he detected me in there, saw him stomping his feet, but he turned and came right towards me. Man, that was absolutely incredible. I never even knew this deer was anywhere around this location. I had found some rubs and different stuff like that. I thought I might see a doe, maybe a small buck. This right here is probably the nicest typical that I have ever taken. And like I said, it's luck. So that means if it happened to me, it can definitely happen to you just as easy. One of the things that I think that really helped me out was the wind was blowing in his direction. He could have scented something, but I'm wearing the scent lock suit right here. There's no doubt about it. It works. It keeps my odor away from the deer or other animals approaching. Man, this is incredible. A boomer 9-pointer.
You know, you can talk to Department of Natural Resource people on the phone all day long. You can talk to landowners at their doorstep. You can look at maps till you're blue in the face. But if you don't get out here in the woods and scout, you're never gonna find whitetail bucks. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now, out here in the woods scouting. But how did I get to this particular spot? Well, it's the recipe that we're trying to show you that's so important. You need to use these contacts, the Department of Natural Resources, the Department of Transportation, landowner contacts. You need to use maps to find areas that are going to be more suited to whitetail bucks, to be living, to be moving through. We're looking for long-running barriers, habitat change features. We're looking for the county in your state that has the biggest whitetail bucks. And here in Pennsylvania, this is exactly where I need to be. Another thing, we can go up in the helicopter or an airplane and fly the area, looking for these long-running barriers, looking the terrain over, getting the bird's eye perspective. but we still need to get out on the ground and look for sign, tracks, scats, droppings, see what the deer are eating. We want to try to intercept the deer between feeding areas and bedding areas in a transition zone. Let's see if we can't find one. When you start to put the puzzle together and get to the farm that you feel you want to hunt, that you want to try to find the whitetail bucks, you need to start to look for where the bucks are actually at, where they're actually living on that particular farm. This farm borders a river bottom area, and I've just walked up out of the river bottom into these oak flats. There's also crop fields. There's alfalfa, there's corn, there's soybeans. There's going to be all different types of food sources on a farm like this in and along a river bottom corridor. You as a whitetail hunter, you need to keep in mind several things. One, if you're going to hunt on this farm, you need to find the deer on this farm, where they're going to frequent the most. If you think of it like the hub of a wheel, you want to try to find all the trails that spoke in to get to the hub, and that's what I'm looking for. Now, food source wise, they can eat on corn, they can eat on alfalfa, they can eat on soybeans. They're going to maybe be in these crop areas, but I'll tell you, white-tailed deer love acorns. The acorn crop this year is incredible. This open oak flat looks like an excellent place, and I'm on several main trails leading out of the river bottom. Let's look for some deer droppings and some sign in and along these acorn flats. Well, there's no doubt that the mast crop in this area of acorns is incredible. But we need more than a mast crop of acorns to find the white-tailed deer. And what we really need is a concentrated spot where we have a lot of sign, where we have a lot of tracks, where we have a lot of droppings, some rubs and scrape marks. In fact, I just don't want to find one or two tracks or one or two droppings, but we need a concentrated area with a lot of sign. We've been looking for interspersion, and that's what brought us to this farm. Interspersion is basically the intermingling of many different types of habitat, where we have rivers and marshes and creeks and woods and farm fields all connecting and actually bringing different habitats together. Deer are going to like an area that has a variety, much more than just an area that's just one plain habitat. In other words, if you have a large wooded area, the deer aren't going to like that near as much as a woods with maybe a cornfield next to it. And if we've got a small isolated woods, almost like an island of trees, if we could get different crop fields and a river around that, we're going to have a much better focal point for the deer to go to. We're trying to find intersection points in interspersion. In other words, the elbow of a river, or where a creek meets a river. You've got two barriers that meet. Deer are going to follow the creek or follow the river, and you're going to have two chances to see one walk by. The same thing as a woods corner. If you've got a woods that makes a corner, if you're on that corner, you can not only watch both of the woods lines, but you can watch the field lines that follow it. You have an actual intersection point. Let's face it, if we can get in an area where a deer can come from this way, or even this way, and maybe they're coming from all three places, we're going to have a concentrated place. We're going to have a hub of a wheel where all the sign is in one spot, and that's exactly what we need. I'll tell you, this open woods, though, makes for a great place to ground hunt because you need to have visibility through the woods. I've got a fantastic trail over here, and I've also got a lot of deadfalls. There's a lot of dead trees that's laying down, good places to hide behind. I think with this mast, with this slough we've got behind us and the river bottom, this is going to be a place I'm going to want to slip into in the morning and see if we can't find some white-tailed deer moving through. There's definitely does. Maybe we'll see a buck.
We all know how tough it is to locate deer in cropland. Now, for instance, I'm walking through this cornfield, and as I do, I'm looking for beds or feeding spots or tracks and trails going right through the corn. For them to make it to a bedding area in corn or soybeans or any one of their feed spots, they have to leave tracks, and this is what I'm looking for. I especially like to look for sign in river bottoms and cropland that is in lowland areas, along creek banks, or long ditches. Long geographical features that I can get a good tree stand location in, and I'm going to show you just how to do that. Now, I've just come out of that cornfield that I was searching for deer tracks in, and I've selected this tree as a great location for a tree stand, and I'll tell you why. I've got a ravine off to my right that drops down to a river bottom. Just what I was talking about earlier. We got the corn crop right here, and I found a trail that comes right off this ravine to the river, up to the corn. I had a trail timer in here for 2 or 3 days, and those are important to me. I use trail timers all the time. I also use a 3 tree stand system. Now you're thinking to yourself, 3 tree stands, why 3? I'll tell you why. Well, I'm in construction, and I don't have all day, every day during the week to hunt. I may only have a couple hours one morning I can sneak away, or maybe a couple hours in the evening that I can jump away from work. So what I do is I'll get 3 different stands up. One for the morning that I can get in a couple hours, one for the evening that I can get in a couple hours, and a third one, like on a Saturday, I can hunt all day, going in before first light, staying all day till after dark. Hey, you know, when you're setting your tree stands, always keep in mind what side of the tree to put the tree stand on. Keep your back to the sun, whether it be in the morning or in the afternoon. Yep, I'm gonna really like this tree stand location, but it didn't come easy to me. I had to do my homework and my footwork. I talked to a lot of landowners, a lot of farmers. They're the ones who see the deer every day and all day. And that's where I want to be, out and amongst the deer. Because finding a spot like this, to me, is like finding buried treasure. And the whole experience of hunting is just being outdoors. I really like it.
Okay, now try this year. We call it our secret weapon. And really, it's just a method of applying what's called a call lure. And this kind of goes back to Tom and my trapping days, where we use a specific lure to reach a long distance, to call an animal in closer. And then we let our mock scrapes and our other lures bring him into the specific spot we want to hunt. It's called call lure again. And what it is a super concentrated formula that Tom and I have developed called 2-Drop Supreme, 1, 2, that will reach out and call those deer from a real long distance. Now where this will benefit the hunter is where you've got deer that you can't get to easily. They're bedded down in a fence row, okay, or they're out in a cornfield, or they're in a little bit of a spot that you don't have permission to hunt or can't get to. Try a long call lure like this to pull those deer into your setup, and then let them hit the other lures and attractants that you've put out. I'm telling you, trappers have known about this system for many, many years, but we're just trying to turn on hunters to the same type of crazy ideas. Hey, give it a try this year. Let's see how it'll work for you. I think you're going to love it.
Stoves have no idea I'm here, which means the wind's perfect and the scent lock is working. Yeah, I'm really going to town on those leaves. Look at the size of that doe. Huge. It's going to be just about impossible to shoot if a buck comes in. There's just too many eyes on me here. Of course, they aren't paying me much attention. Seems like they're doing more eating. There's one heck of a game trail. One heck of a game trail out there. The does are working right at me. This is not good. Uh-oh. The little fawn's looking right at me. She has no clue. 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 4. I see 5 does.
down, he's down. Yeah, all right. Man, oh man, can you believe this? On the ground, my second buck ever off the ground. Yeah, wow. About 100 yards where I seen him go down, or at least I thought I seen him go down. About 30 yards from there, right off the edge of this slough, he laid down by this tree. I gave him 15 minutes, and his head was even leaning up against these branches. Oh man, come in right behind, a little bit of a quartering away shot, come in right behind the ribs, and I'm sure probably right through both lungs. Oh wow, we've been working really hard on getting me another ground kill. Last year we had a chance to go to Oklahoma and meet up with expert whitetail hunter Roger Ragland. I learned a lot of tips from Roger, how to locate bucks, how to get in and hide from them, how to be quiet when they're around, how to move slow and get the shot. In fact, we've been talking about ground hunting bucks throughout this tape, but let's face it, the real reason that we did Buried Treasure Bucks was to try to help you guys to learn how to locate bucks. And I'll tell you, there's a science to it. It's a recipe, and that's what we've been trying to show you. It's a recipe of locating the bucks. Mark June, he was hunting out of a tree stand, but he was using scent, he was using long running barriers. He was hunting near railroad tracks, but he had rivers, he had deer crossing signs. He was where the bucks were. That's what it takes. I've been talking to the Department of Transportation, I've been talking to the game and fish people. We've been trying to locate them on maps. We've been flying with a helicopter to see the terrain that bucks like. Boy, I'll tell you, we got right on this baby. I can't believe it. I got him right off the ground. Can you believe how he was working in there? There was 2 interference does and he come working. Man, I'm just scrambling. I'm talking in circles here. But it was great. I got the shot on him. Boy, Paul was hunting down in Alabama. He was talking about interspersion and all wildlife. Bucks like this included, like interspersion. And man, he slocked a nice one off the ground too. Boy, a lot of ground cover I had early down in Alabama. Mike Pelagatti, our main cameraman, oh man, he took a real nice buck with a muzzle loader. But I'll tell you, he has the trick that's probably the most envious of all of us, because he actually gets to take pictures of the deer before he actually goes after him. Well, I think maybe one time ever he's got a picture of a buck he's actually been able to see later. But just knowing that there's bucks in your area by using those trail timers with the camera on there, you can't ask for anything more than that. Sandy Brady, hunting in them cattle, man, I'll tell you, he can slock them on the ground too. Boy, I'm telling you, I'm just so excited. I'm supposed to try to finish this video here by this deer, and daggone it, I'm so pumped up, I don't know if I can do it or not. Yeah, what a buck. I'll tell you, I'd like to thank all the guys that took part in the video. Paul Voss, my best friend from Columbus, Ohio, I'll tell you, he gets a chance to travel a little bit with us and doing the show on ESPN, but it's a lot of fun. It's always great to get with him, whether we see a deer or not. Mike Pelagatti, the man behind the camera right now, I'll tell you what, it takes guys like that out there every day, daylight, before daylight to dark, to get them on film. Sandy Brady, I'll tell you, he's a good friend of mine, and I'm telling you, working with him on the show, it's always a treat. Mark June from Swartz Creek, Michigan. Oh man, he knows how to scent them bucks in. And I'll tell you, every time I'm with him, I learn a little bit more about how to lure a buck in close. We're gonna have to try to work on getting him a ground hunt. He likes them tree stands though, I'll tell you. You know, hunting whitetail bucks and locating them is a system and it's a strategy. In fact, when you hunt them from the ground, it's buried treasure. I'm Tom Miranda, and I'd like to remind you that hunters and fishermen, and especially whitetail hunters, are conservationists. So protect your environment. Look for all the guys on an upcoming Outdoor Adventure Magazine whitetail video. We're going to be out there hunting them so you can enjoy watching them. What a buck, huh? I got him, guys. Yeah!
Look at this, guys. We got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Down, he's down. Yeah. All right. Man, oh man, can you believe this? On the ground, my second buck ever. Off the ground. Yeah. Wow.
Bill Jordan's Realtree. Compare Realtree's gray leaf to other conventional camo patterns, whether it's hardwoods, pine trees, rocky terrain. New to the Realtree family, our brown leaf pattern, which promises to be the best tree and ground cover camo. Realtree matches more terrains than any other camo pattern, which makes Realtree America's most versatile camo pattern.
No matter what kind of game it is, western mule deer, eastern whitetails, or big northern bears, the serious bow hunter needs serious equipment. That's why I use Puckett's blood trailer broadheads. When you use Puckett's, there's no doubt about it. The buck stops here. To order your Puckett's blood trailer broadheads, call 703-339-7164.
When you have a buck like this come under your tree stand, you don't want to settle for anything less than a Martin bow. The particular model I shoot is a Firecat, and I like it because it's real easy to draw, it's very durable, it's a dependable bow. I know when I'm up there in the tree, I can pull that string, it's going to be nice and quiet, and it's going to give me the foot-pounds of energy I need to bring in a trophy like this. Martin bows come in all shapes, sizes, and I'll tell you what, if you want a dependable bow, if you want something that's going to get the job done for you, do like I do like Sandy Brady does, do like Jim Cox does, use a Martin bow. A Martin Firecat bow, hey, they're the best in the business. I'll tell you what, preparation before your hunt is crucial to being successful. When I think about not having any odor in that tree, when I'm waiting on that buck, I'm thinking about my scent lock suit. What you're going to want to do with your scent lock is you're going to want to keep it together with your clean camouflage clothing, and you're going to want to field dress just like I'm doing this afternoon. As I'm getting ready to go into the woods, I know that with my scent lock clothing that I'm going to be as odor-free as you can get when I'm up in the tree. I'll tell you, there's nothing worse than seeing that buck come in, stop, wind the area, snort with his tail up, and run in the opposite direction. If you're going to use scent lock, you aren't going to have that problem. You're going to have bucks just like this right under your stand. I'll tell you, scent lock clothing, when you're thinking about no odor, I think about scent lock. Don't let using the wrong pin cost you that big whitetail buck. Get Bracklin Archery's new high-tech bow scope mount. Its easy adjustable one-sight system will let you hunt later and improve your accuracy at distances from 15 to 70 yards. It adapts a rifle bar for hunting or a pistol scope for Robin Hood accuracy. But hey, don't take my word for it. See your local pro shop dealer or contact Bracklin Archery, the leaders in archery accuracy. If you've watched very many of our videos at all, you know that we use a lot of Make-A-Scrape and Buckler Supreme to bring those whitetail bucks in close. If you're not using a scent to bring deer closer to your stand, I'll tell you what, you're missing the boat. Just look at these bucks as they're coming in to Make-A-Scrape and Buckler Supreme. It's incredible what a little bit of lure in the right place, a lure that's attractive to these deer, can do for you. It just makes it that much more fun to be out in the woods, to watch the reaction of these deer as they come in, snooping around, looking, sniffing. They're aggressive, they're non-aggressive, but they're coming closer to your stand because of these active ingredients, these odors that are just permeating in the wind around your tree stand. We've got a new product this year. We've been working on it for several years. It's called 2-Drop Supreme. I'll tell you what, it's not a big bottle of smell, but it's like a call lure, and it brings bucks from incredible distances right up under your tree stand. We've got hundreds of testimonials this year from people that have used Buckler Supreme and Make-A-Scrape in combination. I'll tell you what, if you're seeing some of these hunts and you think it's a hoax, it's not a hoax, it's working. It's out there in the real world bringing bucks closer to your stand. There is nothing more fun than using scent to bring in deer close. If you'd like some more information about these products, you need to give Mark June a call. Call him at 1-800-238-1291
give them a chance.
What I like about these is you can get them two at a time. Just dump them out. And hey, if you're a trapper, be sure and ask for our complete Trapper Supply catalog, chock full of quality products like videos, grease-proof dirt, and lures that really work for all fur bearers. That's Mark June Lures, Tom Miranda Outdoors, your complete trapping supply headquarters.
Unmatched safety, reliability, and accuracy. Night rifles are the choice of serious big game hunters across the country. Every rifle is loaded with features like patented double safety system, fully adjustable target quality trigger, adjustable high visibility rear hunting sight, receiver that's drilled and tapped for easy mounting of scope bases and rings, anodized aluminum ramrod, removable breech plug for easy cleaning, efficient inline ignition that's reliable in all weather conditions. For superior performance, for a superior hunt, choose a night rifle.
You know, in each video we produce, we have sponsors, and we try to use their products within the tape. But I'll tell you what, we just don't take sponsors on board just because they've got the money or want to push a product. We've had Featherflex as a sponsor for several years, and it's because they have a quality product. The bedded doe decoy concept is innovative. Dave Berkeley is using something that actually works. The Featherflex is a quality product, it's light, it's easy to set up, and heck, it works. When you set the bedded doe decoy up, it's in a non-alert position. When the buck comes in, he sees the decoy, he lets his guard down, and he walks right in under your tree. We've used them for several years. They've been very effective for us. And I think if you get a bedded doe decoy, if it's legal in your state, you set it out in front of your tree, you're going to have much, much better results than if you're not using anything at all. When that buck's looking at the decoy, it gives you time to stand up nice and slow, draw that bow back, and make an accurate shot. I'll tell you what, when we go in the field, we've always got a couple Featherflex decoys with us because I'll tell you what, they work.
Hey bow hunters, listen close. I've got a new product that you're not gonna want to be without. It's called the Brady Blaster, and let me tell you how it works. Once you've set up the blaster on your bow, which is very easy to do, knock your first arrow, set the Brady Blaster, and flip it into position. Knock the second arrow, and you are ready for action. After the first shot, the Brady Blaster automatically flips arrow number 2 into position. Just push your bowstring into the knot, and you are ready to shoot again. You can actually shoot 2 arrows in less than 4 seconds. Just think of the different situations the blaster can be used in. Say you miss a deer. He jumps and runs 10 yards, stops, and he's looking around. Try to pull another arrow from your quiver. Too much noise and movement. That buck's out of there. Not with the Brady Blaster. You can be at full draw before he stops. Order my Brady Blaster today, and for $10 more, I'll send you a copy of Buck in the System Volume 2 with 5 over-the-shoulder action-packed archery hunts. A $99 value for $59.95. Your satisfaction's guaranteed. Hey, remember, ain't nothing faster than a Brady Blaster. To order, call or write area code 313-828-9300, or after August of 1994, 810-828-9300, or write Brady Blaster, P.O. Box 368, Troy, Michigan, 48099.